What's up, guys? Today we're going to do a video on tree care. So twice a year, I go in and I fertilize and I do some things around relatively newly planted trees. So these are going to be trees that are, let's say, like less than about 5 years in planting, maybe 10 max. Twice a year, so every April and October, we do some fertilization. We feed them, we make sure they got the nutrients they need around the base of the tree and where they're planted. So I'm taking this video right now from my garage. I don't want to go do it out in the yard. It's windy, it's just going to be a ton of wind. I'd rather talk live on like what I'm pointing out than doing a voiceover. But let me show you a little bit about what I have here and what we're going to do and the supplies you need. So again, this is basic tree care. We're going to do the bed of that tree. We have another tree on the side that you're going to see here later in this video. But basically what you need, for starters here, I got a metal prong, a rake. That one probably won't be used. And I got one of these flexible rakes to till in some of the stuff we're putting in. I got a bag, so I'm going to pull off all the existing mulch. We got some new black mulch that we're going to be putting down that we get for about $2 a bag from Lowe's. I got my refuge bag that I'm going to be putting the mulch that we're going to pull off in here. Get one of those bags. I'm going to re-edge, so I do like a natural edge around the tree that you'll see. And I got a lot of stuff piled too much on there. Hold on, bear with me. Bear with me. All right, we're back. I got this guy to cut the edge. Right, see kind of what that looks like. Osmocote. This is your fertilizer. This is your food. Just read the back on how much to apply. I don't necessarily measure it exactly because I know kind of what that amount looks like, but it's like a solid sprinkle around. You'll see me when I apply this, but Osmocote Plus, it's great for the food. Insect and bug stuff. This stuff, BioAdvanced, helps from insects getting in and eating your tree and killing your tree. And you'll have that problem here. We're outside of Texas, or outside of Dallas, here in like zone 8. So it's a good thing to do, not because of the exact zone that we're in, just to kind of give you guys an idea of where I'm doing all this stuff at. Measuring cup doesn't hurt to have. Gloves. I also like adding some amount of acid. So we do the Hollytone. And I sprinkle that in. So those are really the only products from a fertilizer standpoint. I'll rake it in with this that you'll see, and then cover it with black mulch. So those are all the equipment and material that you'll need. So now let me show you the video of us getting to work on it. All right, so let's get to work. What I'm working on right here is the Chinese pistache tree that I have in the front. And this is going to be your first step when you're starting to do some tree care, do some maintenance. What I'm doing is a biannual schedule. So I do this every April and every October. And notice when I'm pulling the mulch off, I'm using a flex finger rake. I'm not using that steel teeth rake, and that's just so it's not too invasive. It's not disrupting the roots that are right underneath the dirt, and I'm not changing kind of how the dirt lies and how it's set right now. Also notice there's no weeds, really, and there's no grass. I didn't touch this really, other than watering it, since last October. But notice how the dirt level is. It's not super volcanoed up. It's kind of like flat near the original root ball, and then it'll slope off. So going back to that point when I talked about like the volcano, you don't want the dirt to rise up and up and up to the trunk of the tree where it meets the ground. You want it pretty flat around there, where like the original root ball when it was planted in. And then you kind of want a lip of dirt on the edge of that root ball where it kind of allows water to kind of collect around there. And then you see it kind of like slope off from there. But you don't want like a giant mound of dirt leading up to the tree. And you don't want to like pack a ton of dirt up around there because that's like the root ball. It's its original roots from when you planted it. It needs to breathe. You don't want to dump a ton of stuff on there. And you also notice what I'm doing with cutting this edge is it's helping prevent that grass running. Obviously, I do the natural edge when the grass is growing really well. It'll look really nice. But that's to help prevent the grass running too. You notice there's no grass that's coming up into this kind of mulch dirt area that I've cut out. And the tool that I'm using is really just a border edger. I'll put a link in the video where you could see something like what I'm using. And you just really kind of cut in and go around. I use like a piece of string originally to measure the distance from the trunk and make kind of like a circle as you work around originally if you're making it for the first time. So it's all pretty even. It's pretty circular. All right, on to the next step. This one I love the most. This one just beautified up that edge. What I have here is a Fiskars, what do you call it? It's like a hedge trimmer, but you can see it's kind of scissors basically put at the end of kind of like a clamp deal. These things are just for you not having to bend over, be in an awkward position. You could work alongside that edge and just kind of cut the blades and make it nice and clean. Again, this looks way better when your grass is looking great. I've had part of my golf course lawn goals with the yard is I'm purposely not doing the front, which I'm kind of getting to the point now where I'm sick of it. I think I'm going to tell the HOA people to stop and I'll just manage all the front, but I'm doing all the back. So I did that so you could see the difference, but it looks really good when you do this step and that grass is growing nice and low and thick and lush. But that's enough of my rant here. But this tool, again, I put a link on how to do it. It's pretty simple. Makes it look clean. So now that the edging is done, we've removed all the mulch, you basically have your bare dirt here. Time to fertilize. Obviously, why do we fertilize? Well, it helps the overall health of the tree, helps it feed the tree. Most of the fertilizers that you see me applying are usually a 6-month to 12-month application. I like doing the ones I'm showing you twice a year. So every April and every October. And these are slow release fertilizers. It'll add the nutrients to those roots that are sitting there as they grows and the roots spread in the top few inches or foot of the soil in the main root ball that you have in the middle. And so with the fertilizers that you're going to see me using, one, you have that Osmocote. The Osmocote's your long-term basic feed for the tree. We're going to have the BioAdvanced Tree and Shrub blue bottle that you see me applying. That stuff I apply last. That you see, I make it like a ring. It goes about 2 feet from the trunk, especially for a tree this size. And that is to deter and prevent bugs from getting in and attacking your tree. Because they'll eat it from the inside out and kind of like a termite deal, all sorts of bugs. It's not good for the tree. It could kill the tree. And then the other thing I'm adding is nice to do is look up your tree in its preferred soil pH level or acidity level. Does the tree like acidic soil, slightly acidic soil, alkaline soil? And that's why I'm adding the Hollytone. It's just a way to add some acid to the tree. Another great one that you could use, which I didn't use this time, is something that has peat moss or sphagnum peat moss. And that helps with pH, gets your acidity level up. It helps with drainage of water and also holding the moisture in. So there's a lot of benefits to that. But you see me adding a few of these fertilizers here today. And then just look at the package. Like when you buy the Osmocote, based on your tree size, look at how much it says to add. Usually you use the cap that's on the bottle
to apply the whatever amount it may be. And then there's Super Thrive, another thing that you could water in and do and use throughout the coming months. But when you get done doing this fertilizer, make sure you just water it in. Just give it a nice water. Don't flood it, but just get some water so that it water is kind of dripping down into the soil, and these products get watered in. That's it. Now that we've applied all the fertilizer, it's time to finish it up with the final step with a fresh spreading of some mulch. When it comes to mulch, pretty simple. Don't pack it in lightly, just kind of spread it around. I use the steel-tipped teeth rake to kind of level it out, kind of flip that thing upside down and use the backside of it. But you really are looking for about 2 to 3 inches of soil. You don't want any more, you don't want any less. If you have not enough, weeds and stuff will go through. If you have too much, you're suffocating it. You don't want it bunched up a lot near the trunk of the tree where it meets the ground as well. Other than that, it's pretty simple. Just spread it out, make it look nice, and there you go. Finished deal. So here I've included a watering guide for your tree, and you will see how much water based on your tree size by its trunk size. That's going to be caliper size in inches, and its diameter shows you how many gallons of water that you need to do per watering. And then you'll also see there at the bottom part of this page, based on the temperatures outside, how often you need to apply that amount of water per week. And the best way to judge, okay, I have this nozzle on my hose that I use to water my tree. How much am I getting per minute? Just fill up like a gallon or 2 gallon jug if you have one around. How long does that take to fill up? Then you could do the calculation, how long you're going to need to water with that nozzle to get that many gallons that you need per watering. So a little guide here so you know that your tree, based on temperatures, is getting that sufficient amount it needs. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully, guys, this video helped you out to yard up and take good care of your trees.